Hello, hello, hello. Let me get that loop before we get the infinite loop going there. Sorry about that. Let's get this up. Hello, everyone. I'm just finishing with the last few little setup points here. Game is currently launching in the background, and you should be able to see. We're trying a couple slightly new things with Minecraft today. See if it still works a little bit. It's notoriously a little bit crashy when it comes to streaming. You should be able to hear the sounds of Minecraft coming through now and see it probably on a little bit of a still image of a computer screen. I am just making sure that hydrate is re-enabled because I have water with me again. There we go. Should be back up. You should be able to see it doing cloud computing. Hello, Moth! Welcome to the stream tonight. My game is still very loud for me. I have custom control volumes for me, but sometimes it's very loud in my own ears and I can't think straight. How are you doing tonight, Moth? You doing good? We're just doing a little bit of Minecraft. I've streamed Minecraft before, but I think this is probably your first Minecraft stream that you are catching for me, if I am taking a guess. Stressed as AF. Well, definitely sorry to hear that you were stressed. And hello, Favorian, my beautiful, wonderful wife. Oh, you're deemed to hydrate. I just turned that back on for you guys. And you gotta, of course, Max. I love you too. Max is my wonderful sister. I always appreciate you swinging by. Yeah, and I probably should be going to bed too. I work as well in the morning, but I've set a goal to try to stream for 2 hours every day, just once I'm done with whatever I'm doing beforehand. And we're trying to stick to that because I don't usually sleep too much anyway. Although we'll probably eventually get a little bit more of a stable set schedule. Today was a bit of an adventure for me. Went long yet again, but hopefully that doesn't turn into a normal thing. Anyway, but hello, Favorian. I hope everything's going well for you, and I'm sorry to hear that you're stressed, Moth. Aw, thank you for always sharing with the bits, Max. I always appreciate it. You know, you don't have to do that. I know I'm your brother, and you're probably gonna say you just want to support me because you love me, but you don't have to do that. I'll love you either way. You're my sister. This is probably because... Does it sound weird? People were saying it sounded weird to them yesterday, but I can't... wrong one. I'm gonna launch it into the game and let me know, because that opening music's a little bit weird. The one that I was having. Is it still a little weird? Okay. If my game audio that does sound weird, we can kind of mess around with it a little bit. But yes, so it sounds like a dying tape. I wonder what's going on. Is this any better? Oh, maybe. There's some music playing. Is this any better, or are we still getting some weird audio? People were mentioning having weird audio earlier, and Twitch has been having issues all day. So if it's on my end, I'll fix it, but I know Twitch has been temperamental today. This sounds fine. Are you guys... That's a problem that I noticed. Are you guys still seeing the Minecraft menu? Or are you seeing game footage? Yes. That's a problem. I am 100% actively playing the game. What's you doing, Twitch? You gonna make me not do full screen again? Minecraft, I'm just gonna say this right now. Minecraft is notoriously not stream friendly, ironically. Like, you think it would be, but it's notoriously. This is Java. Yeah. I'm assuming you just figured that out, but now why you do that, Minecraft? Okay, we'll just try. This might crash it. Well, not the stream, but it might crash the detecting of what's going on. Okay, I've unpaused. I'm punching things. Okay. We got live video. You just saw it says Java. And now if I go full screen, so that the aspect ratio shows right, are we still looking live? Yes, looks to be. Okay. Minecraft is its own little world of stream capture OBS complications that I have yet to figure out. And some people have them and some people don't, and I'm in the category of people that have them. There are... So, here is a... 1 second, I'm going to redeem this one on my own spot here because I can. Here is a random fact that you are going to get because I want to redeem one of myself right now. Mojang uses what is referred to as... I'm going to mispronounce this, Jira to track their bug tickets. And sometimes, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of their bug tickets are actually pretty publicly accessible. I know this because I use Jira in my quality assurance jobs when I've been doing those. It's a very commonly used software bug tracking tool that Mojang uses for tracking their bugs. There's a random little fun fact. And because of that, I actually know that it is a tracked issue that they're trying to figure out with screen captures on OBS streams. So, there you go. Known issue. It's a bug, not a feature. Okay, so Moth, this is your first Minecraft stream that you're catching. Is my audio also better now, or does it still sound like a broken tape? Especially to Favorian. But while I'm waiting for that answer, because you're new to my Minecraft streams, sounds good to Moth. Okay. The eventual end goal here, but you have no game audio. Okay. If Moth has game audio and you don't, you might want to restart your Twitch. Twitch has been having some issues today, so you might just be kind of in that category, but if you can hear me and not game audio. Oh, there's no game audio at all. Okay. Okay, I thought Moth was able to hear it. Now what we doing? Hey! Oh, it crashed. We'll get it up and going. We'll get it up and going and game audio working at the same time. Oh, this is just kind of what this is what I'm just kind of talking about with their stream capture software. It's just not very stable. You should be able to hear game audio now, correct? Okay, does it sound funky like a broken tape? Or is it relatively normal? That's the question. And it's stuck on the menu. You did hear it. Did it sound okay? Okay, we're going to try this game capture. I know it's really small right now. And now it shouldn't be. And now it should be live. And you should hear game audio. Yeah. So basically what's happening, for whatever reason, is basically Streamlabs is recording the mouse movement, and the game sounds freely, but then it just doesn't record the fact that the game's changed. I can see the game footage, so I can tell when it's frozen or playing on my end, usually. I just can't hear the game audio for the stream, so I don't know how that is. I need food. It's a little bit loud. It's gonna break. Okay, I'm turning the Minecraft game audio down a little bit. Just a bit. And we're gonna launch it this time, and it's gonna be stable. Because positive thinking. You are totally good. If it's loud, I don't want it to be too loud. The fact is, the stream is still running. And if the stream's still running, I can fix it. That's what matters. And now, because it's going to get stuck at the menu again, I think we're figuring this out. I'm going to load into the world. Yep, and it's going to get stuck right there, it looks like. So now I come here, and then I go... I'm figuring out the little magic tricks that it wants me to perform. No, not Streamlabs. No, Minecraft. Yes, that one. Yes? No? Ah, it's moved the bar on me here. It's changing the way that it acts. Okay. Okay. We should see it. You should be able to hear it. Even if it's a little quiet. We should be able to hear something. As long as it's tolerable, we'll leave it. If not, we can risk seeing if I can adjust the volume again, or how it's gonna feel about that. Is it nighttime again already? It's nighttime again. It might have always been nighttime. I actually don't know if I slept. Okay. So, as we are right now, can you hear the game audio? Is it showing live for everyone? Can you hear and see me? Where are we sitting at? I can keep resetting this all day. Yes. This is what I love to do for a job. It's QA. So, I got all the patience in the world for this. It's all good. Hallelujah. We are there in the end. Okay. So as I was saying forever ago, Moth, thank you. Welcome to my Minecraft stream. Now it's too loud for me, but I can fix that without breaking anything, because my headset has built-in volume controls. So thank you. Thank you for complimenting my house. As the title mentions, the kind of back to the never starting museum, I have started this idea for a completely vanilla single-player Minecraft world that may have guests on eventually. I haven't quite decided yet if I'll have anyone join me every once in a while on this world or not. We'll see, because it'll have to be a landline host, so it makes it a little bit complicated. But the goal is to build a museum. A museum that houses one of every block, item, or mob in Minecraft. This is a very long-term goal, and it was one of my first goals as a streamer, and it will happen, although Minecraft is probably streamed the most intermittently. Anyway, the museum is going to go probably over here, and I'm currently leaning towards doing a Gothic-esque cathedral-style architecture for my museum. Big, tall build with plenty of room to house whatever I want in it. It's going to take a very long time. It's going to take a lot of resources. It's going to be a very slow burn. In the meantime, however, I have dedicated all of my time and limited resources to building a house, which right now is a one-story stone floor, but eventually we will continue the wood up, probably some kind of white concrete or wool block. I haven't quite decided which. And we're going to basically build a Tudor-style home. You know, the ones you always see in the fantasy genre, which are one of my favorite style of things to build. So we're going to have a little Tudor-style house here, hopefully. Although it's already just based on layout, a little bit more complex than most Tudor homes would be, which I'm aware of. I'm not an architect. I know the names of some of the styles, and I like to build. Yeah, it's a good style to make. Anyway, in the meantime, though, this is our Tudor house. Until we have the Tudor house, we have a Tudor house. Anyway, you're welcome. I wish I could take entirely credit for that one, but it was mostly due to my first stream. Someone made a joke about building a two-door house, so we did. Anyway, this is just going to be a pretty laid-back, probably about 2-hour stream today. I don't know what we'll get done. I'm playing Minecraft because it was requested by my lovely boyo, as my wife is currently trying to get them down for a nap, so they can kind of watch it as they go to sleep. And as they're kind of watching it and hopefully getting to sleep and hopefully not absolutely destroying my wife with their never-ending energy of you know, kids and chaos. Um she seems to still be alive. She was able to type the word bed. But as that's kind of happening, it'll just kind of be a little bit of a shorter stream. I'm again currently working on trying to decide what kind of schedule I want to do. Although once I do have a set schedule, I will be posting it on my Discord. It's currently looking, and I have already looted and checked out that boat right there. It is currently looking to most likely be a um so right as of right now, we're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are probably going to be after work streams that probably start sometime around 9 or later, my time. Just kind of whenever I'm free, which will probably be around 9 p.m. or later, and go for about 2 hours. Tuesday is going to be the 9 p.m. Stardew Valley stream with T-Fay and them, which will be my one and only more mature audience stream, which I'm aware of, and I know you don't mind, but I'm aware of that. I probably won't do a lot of not entirely family-friendly streams in the future, but it's okay, and I did enjoy playing that with them, so we will be continuing to do it in the future. I kind of knew who they were beforehand, so it is, I love them. They're all good streamers. They're really great people. Absolutely nothing against them and no judgment here. I just know I'm a little bit more family-friendly than that stream was. But we will still be doing those on Tuesdays, and I'll be marking them as such, just for people who are watching. And on the weekends, I'll probably be doing a longer stream. Like, that will probably be when you're going to get that I can't sleep, binged Hades for far too long streams. We're still going to have those, but they'll probably just be on the weekends. Most likely after Favorian's gone to bed if I can't sleep type streams. Or in the middle of the day. I also will probably do a lot of more of my more unique fun streams on the weekends, but it kind of just depends. Because those are one of the easier ones to do, a little bit of a longer stream or various things like that with because I do want to have some streams where Pippin or my wife will join me. Or my other friends. So yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of a plan of streaming schedule going forward. It's not set in stone yet, but I'm just going to talk about it right now. The other thing as well, before I forget, and I forgot. I know there's something I'm not supposed to forget. It's here. 1 second, we'll recall it from the depths of my terrible memory. Oh, there's coal. Coal is good for the soul, and bad for the environment. Oh, yes, this is what I was going to say. I'm going to be oh, there's iron, too. I'm going to be having a lot of games that are kind of coming into the stream rotation, more than normal, just because I got a lot of games I want to stream with Christmas. So we'll probably be seeing a little bit more variety. The Dark Souls stream, I do want to make sure that I do at least one Dark Souls stream a week, probably more. Dark Souls is still my bread and butter, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But I do really enjoy Hades, so we're probably going to see a good bit of that still. And obviously the Minecraft stream. The biggest one is we're going to get the Assassin's Creed streams going again, sooner than later. As well as stream a couple new games that I got that I've always wanted to play, which is Cuphead and Bendy and the Ink Machine. We will be playing both of those on stream, because they are games that have always interested me, but I've not had a chance to play and finally own. So we'll be getting those on stream as well. And lastly, one of the other things that I can confirm is going to happen, which has been mentioned for a very long time if you follow my feedback, is I will be doing a Shadowlands stream, or World of Warcraft stream, of some variety, and it will probably be a one-off. I don't plan to start any kind of series with World of Warcraft. I just do want to do a World of Warcraft stream, and I will be joined by a friend of mine while I do that stream, who I play World of Warcraft with, and I'm not sure how they want to be referred to, so I will be leaving their name out until I know how they want to be referred to. But a very good friend of mine will be joining me for those little streams, so those will be fun, and I look forward to doing them. But I do know World of Warcraft isn't everyone's jam, so we'll kind of see what happens there. Is that all the spruce leaves? Hello, Banana! Clearly your Twitch is messing with you right now. What's going on for your Twitch? We've been having a couple adventures on our end as well. I do have head bobbing off. I see like 500 viewers here. Yeah, I mean, definitely have a variable, a denominator of 500 viewers right now, called 5. I wish I had 500 viewers. I'll take it. Actually, not really. It'd be a lot harder to keep up with the chat if I had that many viewers. I like just having a couple of you guys to talk to. Oh, it's back to normal. It's getting late. I gotta go sleep, but I want spruce saplings. Are all the leaves gone? Why are all the leaves gone? What was I saying? Oh, head bobbing. Yes, I have head bobbing off. It absolutely annoys me. I'm sorry if that's something that you prefer. Head bobbing just literally annoys me more than anything in the world in a lot of games, not just Minecraft. But so you will see that I do have it turned off. I get like why people would want it on. It just annoys me. Same with auto jump in Minecraft. I just manually press the space button, and it seems to work fine. Anyway. Where are you going? No, I was just confused why it seemed like you were hovering. Oh yeah, that's right. Auto jump. Yeah, Banana gets it. Yeah, I think head bobbing wasn't around when I first started playing Minecraft, at least I don't think it was. And I remember when I first noticed it, and I just could not stand it, and I've always had it off. I definitely know that I was around before auto jump was a thing. Is a trident throwing drowned? Oh, please, please, by the love of Poseidon, give me your trident. I don't know if you actually have a higher chance to drop a trident or not. Where are you, friend? Or less friend, but... Where'd you go? Hello, dolphin. Where'd Trident Boy go? Did he despawn before I could do anything? Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I feel slightly betrayed. Am I out of spruce saplings? I'm gonna check if I have any more spruce saplings stashed away. Because I only got 3. I mean, I can always plant more, but... I feel like that's not a lot of spruce saplings to have right now. Anyway, Banana, it's good to see you here. Sorry I got like a little bit distracted. It's another kind of late night, slightly sleepy to daw, so my mind wanders a little bit more. My attention span's a bit shorter. But how are you doing? You doing good? It's all good. No, I don't have an insight. I do have spruce, though. I have all the spruce I need, actually. That should be enough. Let's throw the cobble in here, though. And iron, and... Oh, that's charcoal. Oh, I have charcoal. Do I not have coal? Let's put coal here for now, I guess. Just catching up on my Phoenix, right? AA Justice for All game. There you go. I've really always wanted to play the Phoenix Wright games, but I just have not had access to them. I need to find food. Really bad. Um, hmm. How do I build a cooker? I know cookers are really good at cooking food, and I've always kind of wanted to have one. We gotta start thinking about how I'm furnishing that place. And then probably build like some kind of sheep wool farm. Unless polished diorite works, but I'd rather not use polished diorite. I am not a fan of diorite. No, I've always wanted to play Phoenix Wright. Ah, that's what it's called. Smoker. It's a furnace with any oak log around it. Oh, that's really easy to make. What do you think of them? Are they a game that's worth really getting into? I'm assuming so. Okay. Ah, the smoker. I haven't actually experimented around too much with these newfangled furnacey things, but I know that it's supposed to help. And it's got a decent little look to it. Like, I feel like I can put this... Does it take 1 second here? Do I have spruce logs? I do. Does this mimic... I think it might mimic the wood. No, that looks... That might actually be. It might be mimicking the wood used to build it, which if it is, 10 out of 10 game design. But that should look nice if I put in some spruce cabinets next to it, which I was planning on doing for my kitchen. Okay. I need food. I got a cookery thingy, but I need food. What the fastest way to get food is going to be right now is the question. What day is it? Okay, so I have plenty of time in the day. Just catching up. My Phoenix Wright to play Justice for All game. Yeah. Still the same place that we were. Keeping that turtle safe because he found a home, forever home in our boat. I'm gonna see if this works. It may or may not work. Okay. This is slightly working. Oh wait, this is new Minecraft. You gotta wait between your panic swings. I'm so sorry, Cod. I'm sorry it had to be this way, but I'm a hungry man, and I need food. And you are the most abundant food supply next to me. That's not tropical fish, because I'd actually feel really bad for that. Anyway. It is what it is. I feel like I'm gonna summon a creeper if I say that any longer. We're gonna build a farm here. This FYI, that's what that whole spot's for. It's gonna be our little garden farm area. We'll kind of bring a very kind of, I'm gonna do a very sharp terraformed area there. If you've ever been to if you've ever seen like the old Tudor cities, there's not like greenery and lawns and grasses a lot of times. It'll be like stonework and very plotted out gardens, right up to kind of maybe like a bit of a there's a very planned garden area, and I'm gonna kind of do that off to the side of the house. That's what the plan is. Just random, FYI. Okay, cod can go in here, and we cook it, and we see how it cooks. Oh, it's got little smoke effects. It makes it even better. I still haven't planted the trees. These are so much faster. I'm also gonna need a new iron shovel sooner than later. Not iron, axe, not shovel. Unless I've stashed one in here. Nope, I haven't. Okay. Oh, boop, boop, boop. I just realized I got other things I need to fix on my stream. I gotta finish doing all my emotes, I just realized. Well, the bit emotes are the ones that I'm working on right now. They're not finished. As well as I still only have the one tier 1 emote. But my bit emotes, I gotta finish those, and I gotta finish all the channel point icons. I just realized that. Oh. Because I am pretty darn sure between Moth and my sister, they're gonna get that tier 1 emote spot before I actually have the emote I want to put in it. I think I actually even have the emote ready to go. I'll have to double check. My wife was helping me out with a couple. Let me actually check that real quick. Oh, dang it. I just realized this is Minecraft and I probably just crashed it. We've already committed to this, so if it's crashed, it's crashed. Oh. No one's there yet. But we're getting close, it looks like. Okay. Wait. It's a miracle! It's a miracle! It didn't crash! Anyway, if you didn't know this, Moth, I think you probably knew this. But yeah, there's basically, you can unlock extra emotes if you've donated bits to a channel of a certain amount over the lifetime of the channel. Like, it's not like a per month or per year thing. It seems it's like a per forever thing. I didn't know about this until I became a streamer, until I became affiliate, and then I was like looking through my settings, and I'm like, what are these? And then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And they're like a permanent unlocked emote. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Anyway, looks like I need to sleep again. Let's plant the trees first. Plant trees, don't get distracted. That's the goal. If I start to wander away without planting the trees, let me know. Okay, there's still sound for me. It's just like gone really quiet. Come on, turtle. Away we go to plant the trees. Thanks, Mom. Your timing is impeccable. Every time, every time I mention bits is not an indication that you need to cheer them. I mean, I always appreciate the bits. You know I always appreciate them. It means a lot that you guys would even consider supporting me. But just because I've mentioned them does not mean you need to cheer me bits. I'll definitely survive without them. It's appreciated. I really do appreciate it. But I'll still love you even if you don't donate bits. Anyway, there is a turtle in my boat. We should probably name the turtle. He's been sticking around with us long enough at this point. He probably needs a name. And then once I find a name tag, we can properly name him. But he needs a temporary name for now. And I planted the trees, and now it's nighttime. And hello, Poppy! I just realized I saw you, and you were commenting on the turtle boat. Hello, welcome back to the stream. It's good to see you again. Just doing some nice, calm, relaxing Minecraft today. As I eventually build things somehow, somewhere. I really need to build a farm. I really need to build a farm in hindsight before I forget. But I don't want to build a farm right now. But I need to build the farm. Problems. This is my weird mind, because I thought to myself, how do I make my life hard? Go at an angle. And I went at an angle for a bit. And then I thought, why am I making my life hard? And then now we're going to go this way and then this way and have two little mining tunnels. Well, I'm going to be yawning a lot this stream. I'll still be going till about 3 a.m. my time. Because that'll be about a 2-hour stream at that point. So ignore the yawning. I'm actually not that tired. When I get really tired, I stop yawning. If I'm yawning, it just means my body thinks it's tired. Because my brain being awake and my mouth being awake are apparently two different things. I got, and I don't know if Poppy will appreciate this or not, because I think this is much more of a Massachusetts thing and not just an Easterner thingy. But I had my very first Dunkin' Donut today, and it was alright. It was alright. I had half of a plain glazed Dunkin' Donut, and I rather enjoyed it. It was very nice. I feel like I'm a proper Bostonian, Massachusetts boy now. I feel like that's some kind of coronation here. Yeah, they're huge. Like, if you ever hear like about there being a Starbucks on every single corner, that's literally Boston. Driving through this area, and I'm like, there's a Dunkin', there's a Dunkin', there's another Dunkin', there's another Dunkin', and it's like the only chain store I see out here too. Like everything else is like little mom and pop places, or maybe like a one or two chained place, and then it's like all the Dunkins everywhere. That tree grew fast. Okay. I was coming here because I need some kind of temporary farmland. And I want to do something here, and it's going to be very temporary, but we're going to make it work. Dunkin' Donuts they're kind of everywhere in America, but they're just very, very common in from what I understand, like the eastern half of the states. And I know Poppy's somewhere on the eastern half of the states, so that's why I was like, oh, maybe he'll know what that's like. Because I don't think we have any in Utah where I'm from. I know from talking to my wife that there is Dutch Bros. Unrelated, but you just reminded me the name of Dutch Bros, which I couldn't remember for the longest time. In Vegas, there's a Dunkin' in Vegas. I know that much. But yeah, Utah has coffee shops are not very popular in Utah. For various reasons, but mostly because the state's primarily LDS and they don't drink coffee. So there's just not nearly as much demand. But we've recently, within my lifetime, seen a vast surge of Starbucks. So those were actually pretty common growing up. You'd see like one Starbucks in a town, maybe two. Occasional local coffee shop. Coffee was kind of picking up as a thing, as I kind of hit adulthood, but it wasn't too much common before that. I mean, it probably was depending on where you were. I just don't remember it growing up. Because Utah's a little bit weird like that sometimes. One of its many odd charms, I guess, in a way. What am I looking for? I'm looking to make a hoe. That's what we're doing. None of you knew that, but that's what we're doing. Also, I need iron. And I need a bucket. There we go. That should be enough. And oh, the whole Dutch Bros thing, because I was like, oh yeah, and you might be a little confused, is I was talking with my mom the other day, and we were talking about coffee shops, and about how I had Dunkin', and it was really, really good. I had before I had the donut, my first experience with Dunkin' was one of their like I think it was a chai latte. I'm not quite sure. It was something like that. I don't drink coffee, but it just tastes bitter. I'm not a fan of coffee in any way, but I get why people like it. Just not my thing. But chai or not chai, and that was okay. But I had my first donut from there, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. Ooh, Enderman sparkles. Where'd you go? Well, friendly Enderman's gone wherever he was. Okay, let's see. I want to have to about here, and just something kind of small. So we're gonna go with 4. 4 and a 1 block space at the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Yeah, it should work. We'll just do that. And I have plenty of room, so we're actually going to do 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be an 8 block difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Let me double count that because I actually counted really too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Oh, my goodness. Hello, friend. You going everywhere? Are you doing some landscaping too? See, I'm doing some landscaping too. We can be friends. Huh. No reason for us to not be friends, huh? I don't know where he went. I was talking to you. But goodbye, Mr. Enderman. I hope you have a good whatever you're doing. Oh, there you are. And there you're gone. I ain't gonna question you. You do you. You pop around. You do whatever you need to be happy, Mr. Enderman. This is going to be a garden and not farms later. But for right now, it's going to be farms, if that makes sense. Because I needed some place to grow crops, and that was my only flat area. No, don't do that to me. Ah. I hate when it breaks graphically like that, because then I have to fix it, otherwise it will annoy me. There we go. Minecraft is not a good game when it comes to like my compulsive need for everything to be aligned, and simultaneously the best game for this. Okay. We'll take a bucket of water just to have, in case we need it later. Anyway, let's do ourselves some tilling of the soil. I think I have seeds. I just realized I actually don't know if I have any seeds to use here. But we're going to keep it up either way. That'll turn into a nice grass block. We're going to get our 4 over here. And just kind of do a little bit nice farming. It's getting late. I'm going to head back to bed. We'll finish tilling out the rest of this in the morning. In Minecraft, I'm heading to bed. I probably should clarify because it is late enough that that'd be a statement that would actually mean that I'm going to bed and continuing this in the morning. There we go. Oh. I know I kind of asked how all your days were earlier, but any good stories today? I know we had a really rough yesterday. I'm kind of hoping that people had maybe a little bit of better days today. I know Moth seems to not have been having the best, and I am sorry to hear that. But I hope the rest of you, or yeah, not really. Oh, actually, you might have something? I'll take something. I got a really cool long sleeve shirt with a jumping spider on it. That's not bad at all. Ah, I always like a good long sleeve shirt. Oh, sounds like a lovely shirt. What have I done here that is different than what I've done here? Ah, no. No. I've come out one more here. That's what I've done. We'll see if any of those get watered, and then I'll determine the edges. That's not pretty, but it will do for now. So we got 1, 2 from the end here. 1, 2 from the end here. That's why this looks better. Versus this way we only have 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Now they're even. We'll see if that all flows out the water, that'll be perfect. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. That'll be our farm for now. We'll see if we have any seeds to grow here. I think I do. What kind of material is it? Is it like a nice sweaterish kind of long sleeved? Or are we talking more like a nice little cotton long sleeved? A little bit of a shiver. Cotton? Well, that's nice. Realistic jumping spider, or is it like artsy? Don't sneeze. Okay. You'll post pics? Oh, perfect. Perfect. I don't wear a lot of shirts anymore that have pictures on them. Because mostly I don't know, can you see what I'm wearing? I don't think you can see what I'm wearing. You can kind of see part of it. I'll stand up. Oh. I mostly wear, um, this is a double-breasted vest, and I'm wearing a kind of like plaid. Got this shirt for Christmas. It's a really soft one. Kind of a plaid cotton shirt over it. Sometimes I wear a plain white or solid colored. Wear lots of vests, mostly double buttoned. Have a pocket watch. Nice dress pants. This is just what I wear normally, or try to. You also might occasionally see me in like shorts and flip-flops in the middle of winter, which I know is a crime punishable by many things, or should be, but I genuinely don't get cold. I'm a big guy. I'm used to the cold. And people are like, oh, it's the East Coast. It's really cold. You're not going to understand that. You're from Utah. I lived up a mountain where we got all the snow in the world for a very long time. A significant portion of my family is like tundra dwelling Polish people too. And those that aren't are pretty much Welsh, rainy, cold English climate. Which isn't Massachusetts, but I'm just not bothered by the cold too much. I'm not even trying to do that like as like some egotistical thing too, because I know some people are like, oh, it's fine, it's not that cold, as they freeze their butts off. I think it's mostly to do with the fact that I'm just a bigger guy. Got a little bit more natural insulation than most people do. Insulation? Yeah, that's the word. But that, and I was lazy as a kid, so I kind of got used to it. Like, I didn't want to have to wear anything but shorts growing up in junior high and high school. So because I didn't want to wear anything other than shorts in junior high and high school, I would wear them all the time, and it'd be the middle of winter, and I'd be like waiting for the bus, and I'd be in shorts, and I would be like, yeah, this is fine, I'm not cold, as I'm like shivering, waiting out in the snow for the bus to arrive. I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted a little bit of terraforming there. And then just because I'm an adult now, like now I try to dress warm and be smart, but the cold's the cold. It was like my own fault. Like, that's 100% just me being like stupid. But I did it so often as a kid that like just I'm kind of like, cold's whatever. Like the heating's not working in my car right now. But that's kind of fine. It's whatever it is. I don't mind too much. Anyway, we can officially start building now that we have some seeds growing. Did you post them to the Discord? I'm going to check real quick, but I'm going to use my phone because I want to see them. Yes. No, maybe? Yes. Aha. Oh. Sleeve front back. That's a really good one. They look to be like little thread spiders. Like they've been, I think the phrase is embroidered. I could be wrong. If my wife's awake and watching, she can probably correct me. But it's like when there's just the sewn in pattern rather than like glued on over it. It's print. It is print. Okay. It looked like maybe it was slightly embroidered. I now also have the desire to make a fancy male shirt brand, but instead of like the little guy riding a horse like you'd get on a polo, do a little jumping spider. Someone needs to do it. I say that they need to. Oh, I also wear bolo ties. Like, speaking of my wardrobe, I support the bolo tie. Because bolo ties, they look fancy, they look nice. I don't know if you can see my bolo tie. I'll hold it up a little bit and try not to block it. But they look fancy, they look nice. They're super easy to throw on if you want something quick. I wear traditional ties, I wear bow ties. I like neckwear. I actually have one of my favorite ties right here. Within reach, if I can grab it. Purple. Best color. Yeah. It's a good tie. Anyway. This bolo that I'm wearing, I have two bolos with me right now. This is my other bolo. Oh, I shouldn't hold things so shortly. I should hold them where you can actually get a glance. Make sure that you can actually see what's going on. This is my other bolo. This one I got for Christmas. It's all new and shiny and fun. This one means a lot more though. My wife gave me this one as a gift, and it was her. I don't think she's watching right now, so she won't correct me. But you can ask her about it, and she will tell you if you message in the Discord asking when she sees it. She's probably asleep by now. But it was her, I believe, great grandpa's. And she gave it to me. Her family is very much settlers of the West, so it was like an authentic Western little bolo tie here. And Vixen, how are you doing? It's good to see you. It's been a little bit. I've been going crazy, weird, odd, different schedule things lately. Oh, it's nighttime again. I gotta go sleep. But how are you doing, Vixen? It's good to see you. I haven't caught a you or a Noctis stream in way too long. It's good to see you guys. Well, it's good to see you. I don't know where Noctis is. I'm assuming he's somewhere doing something. But it's good to see you. How are you doing? Did I ask that? Noctis hasn't streamed in a while. Mm. Oh. Probably why I haven't seen much of him. Oh, he's doing either. I'm at work. I'm okay. Work is better than last night, thankfully. Oh, that's always good to hear. I'm sorry that last night wasn't good, but I'm glad to hear that work's doing better for you tonight. I think we can probably just write off yesterday, though, as in all of its entirety an odd day. There was much going on. Anyway, Let's get back to building now that I'm actually thinking straight. And I'm not necessarily thinking straight, but I'm actually thinking about it. Oh, I need to build stairs. Do I want to build stairs? I want to build stairs here. Kind of walk through here. You walk into the little narrow hallway, make a turn. Yeah, I'll figure that out. I'm not necessarily the happiest with this corner, but it's kind of what I got. Unless I were to... Could I do that? Why are you opening up, Google? I didn't even say your name. Anyway. Oh, well, where does this line up to? It does line up to here. Do I want to do... That might actually work. One second, I have an idea. We're experimenting here. Experimenting with something that I may hate, but we will find out. Okay. Yeah, but I'm genuinely glad to hear that tonight seems to be going um better than last night for you. I've just started a new job myself, and I definitely feel some of that, like, I want it to be good. I actually enjoy my new little job. Um, but yeah. A little different than what I'm used to, but a good job nonetheless. I built this really odd shape. Hopefully it goes okay for you. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's it's busy work is what I'm gonna call it. So they needed an accountant, and I'm not an accountant, but more importantly, they needed someone who could understand old software and how to make it work, and that is something that I can do. I can play with janky, old, terribly designed software all day long, and that's exactly what they wanted. So I got hired to an accounting job for the fact that I wasn't an accountant. Just a really good little small company too. But yeah, they're good people so far. I enjoy it. Okay, how do I want to do this? I like the look of this. Definitely didn't follow Vixen here. Oh, you were here first, Banana. Yeah, Banana's like my resident lurker. And I always appreciate him. He lurks, we get the good little meme emotes. The memes, the emote things. Not memes. The slash me. That one. Whatever the name of that command is. Oh, oh, this might work. This might work. Oh, this will work or it won't work. I'm not sure. He's everyone's local lurker. Oh, that's why we love him. Okay. So, we have this. We're going to use this as a little bit of a support beam. I have a plan. I have a plan to make this work. And then we're going to build a little... It's great knowing he's around. Yeah! Always appreciate knowing he's around. We're going to build stairs that kind of come up, so you kind of see them, and then you walk here, and it's going to be a narrow entryway, and it will kind of loop around up onto the second floor. That's what I think we're going to do. But I'm going to need spruce wood to do it, and we're going to kind of slab it up. Oh, there was a factory team! I am so sorry, I didn't even notice it. Well, you can share your fact while I am thinking about my fact. that I get to share random fact-wise. I don't know how this looks at the door. I'll figure this out. But yeah, go ahead and share your fact while I'm trying to think about which fact I want to share. Hmm. I did this so proud, and then I'm like, actually, I'm not sure if I like how that looks. But we'll play with it in a second. Zagreus doesn't know what birds are. That is an interesting fact. I'm assuming you're referring to Zagreus from Hades. What I'm going to share is because we referred to Zagreus, or I think I'm saying his name right. Zagreus. It's probably Zagreus. I don't know why I'm adding extra syllables. It's in his wiki. There we go. I'm going to share my random fact about Zagreus that I learned today. This is a fresh hot fact. Zagreus, not the character from the amazing video game Hades, but Zagreus, the character that the character in Hades is named after, is in fact a Roman god, as you would expect. Major surprise. One moment, bear with me though. However, what makes Zagreus unique is the fact that he is not a well-known one when they kind of chose the name of his character, and his origin story is actually very debated. You saw there was an actual Zagreus? Yeah. He is basically a Roman god that predates a lot of some of the more commonly accepted traditional pantheon. So with Zagreus, one of the most popular origin stories is actually not that he is the son of Hades. It is the fact that he is the son of Zeus and Persephone. Got the name right this time. The son of Zeus and Persephone. There are versions when he is the son of Hades, and there are also versions when he is not any of them's son, but rather a god that is more powerful and older than them, that is usually married to the Titan Gaia. Or is it Dionysus? I've heard that he's the first son of Dionysus as well. He's a very debated one in terms of origin stories because he's used for a lot of things. The only consistent thing is that he is often associated with death. So the role of Zagreus in kind of the later, more established mythology is usually kind of absorbed by that of Hades and Thanos. Not Thanos. Or is it Thanos? Did they name Thanos after him? Or is Thanos the Marvel villain? Theseus? Is it Theseus I'm thinking of? God of Death? Anyway, but on to part two of this fact here, which might be a little bit lesser known. Part of the reason why, anthropologically speaking, pantheons are very common is because in the ancient times, what would happen is because basically, as civilization has evolved, we have gone from smaller units to bigger units. So the original, smallest, earliest forms of mankind, you're dealing with the small family unit, and then that might make a little bit of a tribe or a clan that maybe turns into a settlement, that maybe turns into a city, and kind of on and on. For the city period of this, though, it was very common for basically every city to have its own practices, customs, religion, and or god. So it would be very common for, say, this city to be like, "Yep, this is our god. They're fantastic. We love them." But the problem is then once you start trading with other cities and start to work with other cities, you're like, "Well, we have our god and you have your god, and we can't both have a god." But what ancient people often did was rather than being like, we're going to fight and hate each other over this, it was much more of a, whoa, you have a god. Wait, we have a god too. That's super cool. I wonder if they're like best friends. And then pantheons begin to get formed as every single city meets other cities and basically start to pool their collective religious structures together. And one city might have a god that they think about with the harvest, and another city might have a god that they think more about with the sky, and kind of every city has its own flavor. And as these grow into a established civilization with multiple cities, you get these kind of formed pantheons. And this is kind of why you end up with a lot of gods that are very, very similar. It's kind of because of this. So Zagreus was probably used by a couple cities at the time period, but as the cities that used more of the Hades or the Theseus became stronger, those were the more predominant gods of death. And because kind of when a civilization ends, it kind of ends at its high point, and then some other things happen. When we think of the Greek pantheon, it's kind of like the full end of that roller coaster. Although the Roman pantheon is kind of a continuation of it. You wish people were more chill with gods. Yeah, it'd be a much different world if that was kind of how people existed today, to be entirely honest. But yeah, that's kind of why you always have especially when you're studying ancient civilizations, everyone has a pantheon. Um, whether it's the Norse or the Greek or the Roman or the Egyptian or all of them, like that's why everyone kind of had a pantheon back in the day. That's just how they rolled. Yep. It's a good question, Moth. It's certainly a good question. Oh. Oh, and this also, by the way, this is a fun little aside to this. Um, another thing that often happens is, particularly in with the European mythology, as Christianity became the predominant religion throughout Europe, and that kind of evolving in the early medieval ages. If, say, a king wanted to become or wanted to kind of convince the locals would basically be like, um, well, we're not quite sure about this whole new Christianity thing. We really like this God that we have that does these things. And one of the common ways the Catholic Church got around through this is there are several saints that are just like straight up pagan gods that have been named saint. Um, sometimes they're tied to real people, but what you'll watch will happen a lot of times too is like they'll either be a real person or there'll be a mythological figure, like a historical figure that may or may not have existed, that becomes, I believe the phrase is, I think it's canonized is the technical term, but when they name the saint and kind of appoint the things that the saint is over, there'll be very direct correlations to usually a similarly named god. A great example of this is Saint Bridget in Ireland, where she has several things that she is a saint over that are very similar to the goddess Bridget in Irish folklore. You had a sweet patient pray for my soul yesterday because I'm not Christian. It was sweet. It is really sweet. That's kind of like my thing. Like, I don't care who you are and what you believe. You want to say, like, whatever to you is a good feeling, like with good intent, totally fine. You wish me a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, Easter, Ramstein, whatever it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. If that's something that you enjoy and means something to you, I appreciate it. I don't appreciate it if you're using it as like leverage. I don't know how to explain that. There's a way to do it wrong, but most people don't. Like, but yeah, if you in completely good intent want to bless me with whatever gods you follow and believe in, I appreciate it. I appreciate the intent that you're trying to do something good, and I think it's really sweet and genuine. I won't be offended. So. Hmm. I gotta decide how I want to do this. Oh, this is gonna be a pain. Not because I'm a heathen, but it made him feel better if it's not like, yeah, yeah. He definitely wanted to try to convert me, and not just because I'm a heathen, but if it made him feel better, yeah. If you're not elitist with your god or not hurting anyone in the name of your god, I'm fine. Exactly. That's kind of how I think it is, you know. You do you. You worship what you want. You believe what you want. You know, that's fine as long as you do not use those beliefs to try to negatively impact others. That's when you've kind of crossed a line. And I do think the vast majority of people don't cross that line. You know, they are with good intent doing whatever the things they're trying to do. Mhm. I have another axe on me. We're good. I'm generally of the mindset that people are naturally inclined to be good. I know that isn't always the case and might not be the best way to view it because there's some people who definitely do a lot of things that wouldn't maybe indicate that, but that's how I feel. You know, I don't think anyone I would be very hard pressed to be convinced that anyone sets out their day to be bad, you know. They're trying to do good. But some people yeah. Some people get caught up in their own headspace and do things that in hindsight I think they themselves won't be proud of. But, okay. Okay. I think this works. I think this is what we're gonna roll with here, design wise. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's a very unique thing, but I can make it work. I think I'm gonna turn this into like a little kitchen area, and we have this is gonna be stairs up, which I'm gonna build next, and we'll kind of ignore this room once I put the stairs in. Okay. I could also make this a little wider for the stairs. Let's see if that will work. I just realized why I don't want to do that, so I'm putting it back. And it was the whole reason why I took it down in the first place and didn't do it in the first place. It's because of the my arch supports. If I narrow this down to a 1, like I do for these ones, which look fine on their own, it would look weird to have a 1 and then on the other side one of those. So yeah, I'll figure. Actually, I think that might look better. I have an idea. Get prepared for a lot of tearing the things down I just built in this stream. I don't plan out my Minecraft builds beforehand. I kind of build freeform style, which makes some kind of weird looking buildings sometimes. I know that, but it's just kind of how I play. So, anyway, I definitely kind of want the widest gap here possible, and I feel like that's a good sized gap. But I'm thinking, what if I don't know why it went there. I want to build some supports through this out to this house that have a bit of a supported, just to kind of give the build a little bit more of kind of that weight to it. I think we're going to do this one. you kind of walk in, there's like, yeah, there's like a little back room here. Gives a bit of that weight to it. That's what I'm looking for. Hmm. Hello, Coral. Welcome back to the stream. Playing a little bit of Minecraft today. How are you doing? It's getting late. Gotta take a nap. It's going pretty good, I'd say. We're just having a nice little bit of a chat. I'm a bit sleepy today. It's just a bit kind of a low-key stream. Hmm. But yeah, we're just doing a little bit of Minecraft. This is... You haven't caught one of my Minecraft streams before, so like a quick little explanation. No need to apologize for your friends, but I'll talk about them in just a second. They were actually appreciated. I enjoyed having them. Um, no, so for my Minecraft stream, before I kind of get tangented and lost off in my own world again, um, this is basically going to be a Minecraft stream, which very gradually, in a very long few 50 years, I'm going to eventually build a museum, probably over there. Thinking we're going to go for like Gothic cathedral style. We'll see what happens. But we're going to build a museum right there, and it's going to house, ideally, every block, item, and mob, plus, anything, basically every one of everything in Minecraft in a museum. And we're going to build it up. It's going to go right over here. It's going to take a very long time to build, mostly because this is like the fourth Minecraft stream, and I haven't even started, because I've been working on my house, which is going to eventually be, hopefully, a nice little Tudor style manor. And we'll get to that. And I'm currently working a little bit on the interior right now. We'll do a little bit more polishing on the outside, kind of back and forth. That's just how I roll. Anyway, but your friends were totally fine. I don't think that they were too weird. Um, they listened well. It was good to have them. I want my stream to be welcome for anyone. So, no need to apologize for them. They are still always welcome back on my stream. See, the thing is regardless too of your friends being a little bit weird, they both listened. If they crossed if they did anything that I felt crossed a little bit of a line, which they only did like maybe once, they listened, didn't have another problem from them, and that's fine. They're new to the stream. They're not going to necessarily know all the nuances of how I stream and kind of what's fine in my community or not. And I'm a pretty chill dude. I don't really care too much about what you do as long as you're not, throwing around hate in my stream chat, you're probably going to be pretty okay. If I were to... Oh, no, so nothing bad happened, Moth. I was playing Skyrim yesterday, and Coral and a couple of their friends kind of jumped into the chat, and her friends were just being goofballs, and so she's apologizing for them to be a little bit weird. The only two things that, like, specifically happened where I even addressed it is, one of them made a joke about being a mod, which I just have a fairly low tolerance to. Um, I don't like when people joke around about being mods because it can cause kind of confusion if you ever need to know who an actual mod is. If I ever have a situation where I need someone to be able to properly handle a situation, if someone did go off in my chat, we've got bots or something, I don't want to spread misinformation. So that was like the one little comment, and it was a well-intended joke. So I was just like, oh yeah, please don't say that. Didn't do it again. Very straightforward. The other one was someone made a little bit of a joke involving Khajiit that got blocked by my Twitch mod, and I left it blocked because I don't usually care too much about what goes on in the chat. Um, but I am a family-friendly streamer, and so like while I'm usually okay with like cussing and whatnot in the chat, like you do you, I don't too much care. It was just a little bit over the lines in terms of being a bit, we'll say, too sensual. And it wasn't even like bad. It was just a little bit too much for what I'd prefer to have in my stream. So I just said that's a little bit much for my stream, and they completely listened. No issues from them at all. They were great people. So more than welcome back at my stream. Nothing bad. I was mostly just saying right there that that's part of the reason why I'm always happy to have them back in my stream is if they got even close to crossing the line, they more than listened without me having to say much of anything. Okay. How do I want to do this? I want to. I'm thinking. I had an idea, and this might not work, or it might work exactly how I want it to. We will find out. But yep, that's all it was. And the only reason I'm going to spell it out kind of so clearly right there is just because I want it to be clear that there was literally no lines that were actually crossed to a point that it's even worth being concerned. I just want to be kind of clear about exactly what I meant there. So. Okay. So now, gosh dang it. There we go. You've done the thing? What's the thing that you've done? This sounds exciting. Oh. You've become a VTuber? Oh, that's awesome, Poppy. You guess? Is it VTuber? I'm assuming you're talking about having your video up on screen. You used your character. Oh. Why do I have two different... Oh, those are logs. I am... So now let's set up every time they talk. That's really cool. Wait, those are logs. I'm an idiot. That's what I was trying to do. Anyway. That should last us a good while. That's really cool. Is that what that's called? I'm terrible at knowing what Twitch terms are. So is VTuber when they have... Is that just like you have a picture that lights up whenever you're talking? Or like interacts or kind of moves and does little things like that? Am I understanding Twitch terms? I'm the old man here, guys. Help. You youngins and your fancy everythings. I don't understand this anymore. Do you dare become a VTuber? I still don't know what a VTuber is. Can someone explain in simple? Okay. You don't know how to explain? Okay. I can deal with that. I'm around your age. Yeah, you are around my age. That does not imply anything about me being an old man, though. I was in high school. You're going to get this story again, which you probably hear before. I was in high school at the peak of the dawn of memedom, when memes were just beginning, the good old days of Doge and Trollface, but when it was still new enough that Rickrolling was still a thing. in the age of this, and very much at this time period, this had been like well into memes being a thing by years, and everyone had known about them from years. And I'm sitting there in jazz band, and just I'd had enough of it. I was trying to figure out the internet. I was trying to figure out what all the youngins were talking about, and I'm like, "What's a meme?" And I was known for the rest of senior year as the guy who thought they were called memes by several people because I had no idea what they were. So yeah, I'm just kind of clueless to picking up things like that. And then like, here's the thing too, like I don't know a lot about Twitch culture as well. Like people post things and then I slowly figured out, like I figured out what the lol face is. We're there now. We're slowly figuring things out, certainly. We'll get there eventually. It's almost night. But I just still don't know a lot of Twitch terminology either. And then you're like, well, that's maybe because you're new to Twitch. I'm not though. I started watching Twitch streams off and on like years ago. I just never quite dived into the community, and like I didn't pay attention to chats. Like I watched Twitch probably once a week, twice a week, and I just never watched and read chats to pick up any of the culture. And if I opened it up, I'd be like, I don't know what any of this is. And it wasn't until I actually started actively watching Twitch, which I started doing with SSS, Secret Sleepover Society, and Noctis and Mashed Mangoes, that I actually learned anything about it and then started streaming myself. Okay, I'm going to explain what my mind thinks it is, and let me know if I am close or entirely off. It is someone who streams, but rather than having a video of themselves, they have a icon or drawing that somehow interacts while they're speaking on their screen. Usually a drawing of themselves, or maybe a character that they like a lot, or maybe a caricature or persona or whatever it is on the screen, and it either lights up or its mouth opens while they're talking in a kind of basically lightly animated style. Is that what it is? Because I've seen it, and that's what I've seen. Yep, perfect. Because I've seen people who do that. I just didn't know that it was called a VTuber. But you mentioned it lighting up, and so my mind was like, oh, it's probably that thing that I didn't know the name of. Anyway. I gotta deal with the after room. But this is looking exactly the way I want it. Now I just need to build the stairs. And we'll be good. I just think I'm not just used to the idea that I'm one among many. Also, I would 100% watch Moth stream with a little moth icon that lit up. Do you want to know why I do video? I do video because I'm lazy, and it felt weird just doing my voice on a live stream. So we did video. I don't mind my face being out there. I'm pretty, yeah, about it. I will say I do not like the sound of my own voice, but I either don't do video because I'm lazy. I don't have good video quality though, that's the thing. This is literally just the camera that's on my laptop. I know. I've been told people like my voice. I despise it if I hear it back in recordings. I wanted to make YouTube content for years. Ever since I was a youngin' in high school, wanted to make YouTube content. And I didn't because I would record videos, and then when I was editing them, because I know how to edit, I know how to make music, all that kind of stuff. But when I was editing them, I would hear my own voice and hated it. So I would delete it and not put it out. Which is why I kind of got excited into the idea of Twitch streaming, Because the one thing I can't do is go to edit my videos and hate my own voice. Because it's live to all of y'all. So there's a fun little fact about Tada. And I've been told that people don't mind my voice, so I know it's not as terrible as I think it is. But and I didn't have a way to not hear my voice playback. Yeah. I'm actually okay with it now. Like since I started streaming and watching my own VODs, I'm pretty okay with it. Um, Still every once in a while, like when I was watching, uh, when I was streaming with Tife, I tapped on um Lady RP's clip that she shared in the Discord when she found the dinosaur egg because we got super super lucky with that. And at the very very end of that clip, you hear me go, "So we need 5 copper ore to make a copper ingot." And I hear that and I'm like, "Ooh, I hate that. I hate that. I don't like that voice." It's like that was like one of the times where it annoyed me. But I'm getting better with it now. I'm not a fan of your voice, but it's my voice and I'm stuck with it. Yeah, you also got it. You got a nice voice, Mash Mango. I think you're probably in the same boat as me, where you don't like the sound of your own voice. Most people don't, though. We're gonna get another free redeemed fun fact here. That's actually very common. Um, when you hear your own voice, due to the facial structure of your bones, with the jawbone and everything, it actually reverberates your voice back to your ears at a lower pitch than everyone else hears it. So you always sound lower and more harmonized to yourself. So when you're talking, you get this kind of basically perfect sounded version of your voice that's usually fairly well balanced and a little bit lower and a little bit like, yeah, that's nice. But then when you hear it back, it's a little bit of a higher pitch and it can kind of sound whiny or like a bit out of tune or it doesn't sound like you. And that's kind of the part of the reason why is you've suddenly lost a massive input feed that you have and others don't. Mm, That's just anatomy, and that's cool. Yeah, voice dysphoria. That's the yeah, that's probably what I probably a safe thing to say that I have with my own voice too is voice dysphoria. But that's how I've described it in the past, at least. But mm, yeah, I don't like the way that my voice sounds because it just doesn't sound like me. It sounds like it's some other weird, strange alien creature if I hear myself, and I just hate it. And that's kind of that disconnect there. But I usually don't use the word dysphoria because I feel like it's a bit of a better word to. It's a word that I like to save for the trans community as much as possible because they have a much better claim on it than the like use it like it's what it is. Like use the word to describe the condition, which is any obsessive. Dysphoria is an obsessive, kind of like a. I'm trying to think the best way to put it. You probably all know what it is, but it's where there's a certain aspect of a actual or perceived flaw that you can't separate from. It's very, very common in the trans community because as you're transitioning, it's part of transitioning for a lot of people. You don't have to have dysphoria to be trans, but a lot of people do. Anyway, oh, thank you for the gifting subs, Mash Mangoes. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. But yeah, that's what dysphoria is, and it can be something real or something not. Is it just dinging again? Are my alerts not working again? My alerts aren't working again. Oh, that's why my alerts aren't working again. My alert should be working again. Thank you so much for those mashed mangoes. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, but anyway, uh, yep. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but like so dysphoria can be something genuinely physically there. Like if you have a scar or a body feature that you're not happy with, or In, for example, the trans community, you aren't the gender that you feel you should be. That is a physical dysphoria, but it can also be something that's not there. Kind of like thinking you're overweight when you're not, or thinking your nose is huge when it's not. What makes it dysphoria rather than just like a body image thing is that with dysphoria, you can't escape it, if that makes sense. Yeah, and you don't need it to be trans. You can be trans without dysphoria. Dysphoria is very specifically when it's something that you can't. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's the difference between not being able to sleep and insomnia. You might not like the way that you look, and that's actually fairly normal. It becomes dysphoria when it has an impact on your life and it's affecting you negatively, and it's something that you can't move past. It's also why I try not to use the phrase OCD, because I'm not OCD. I can ignore certain things. I do a lot of things that because they annoy me, like straight lines, organizing things, putting things on numbers that are derivatives of fives and zeros. I do this, and if it became a thing where like it affected my life, if I didn't do it, then it would be OCD. But because it's something that I can happily not do, it's not OCD. And I try not to use the term because there are people who have actual OCD who, can't walk past a light switch without flipping it X amount of times, which is a vast impact on their daily life. And I don't want to lessen the term for people who actually suffer for it. So that's like why I try not to say voice dysphoria. Although I have had a doctor mention that before as like potentially there. I just feel like it doesn't affect my life enough to use that term personally most of the time. I just really don't like the sound of my own voice. That was like a really long tangent. And because we touched on this whole thing, trans rights. I'm gonna say it right now because I can't just talk about this without saying trans rights. They deserve them. Shout out to them. I got one of these. Ooh, thank you. Up there it is. Yeah. I was like staring at my phone for a second, and I'm like, oh, I've used all of these too much, and I couldn't make out the trans flag amongst all of them at a quick glance. Oh. I don't know what I'm doing. I just saw that and I'm like, I'm going to do that thing. I'm gonna do the thing. And then we're gonna do this thing. And I don't know why I'm doing this, because this is actually isn't making it look any better. But I think I'll probably just dirt over this, make it a bit of a smoother hill eventually. Okay. I need to figure out stairs. I need food. I need food. We're gonna do food and then we'll figure out stairs. I should have enough wheat to actually make a loaf of bread or something. Anyway. Oh, boop, 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 boop. It's a decent amount of wheat. Let's plant some more though. Did I thank Mashed Mangoes for the gifted subs? I thank Mashed Mangoes for the gifted subs. If not Mashed Mangoes, I thank you. I really, really do appreciate it. I always appreciate it. One of them went to Lady RP too. She's a great streamer. So, yeah, there's lots of great streamers in this chat today. We got Mashed Mangoes, we got Banana, we got Vixen, we have Poppy. All y'all's are great streamers. If I've missed you and you're in my chat and you're a streamer, you are great too, and I love you. I just have a terrible memory. Just terrible, especially when I'm tired. But y'all great. speaking of which, before I forget this as well, because I currently only have the one mod, and I plan to leave it that way for a little bit, but I was thinking after T-Face stream that I need more than one mod. I'm actually beating Phoenix Wright without a guide. Oh, thank you, posture check. My posture's actually been pretty good tonight, but I do appreciate that. I finally got... Did I tell you I got a chair moth? I got a chair moth. I have a chair properly finally now. I stole it from my new job. And by stole it, I mean they gave me permission. And then my boss proceeded to make sure that I could get it out to my car without anyone asking questions because I work at a... Oh, I can do a stretch, too. I still gotta hydrate. But, my boss helped me walk it out to my car just to make sure no one asked questions as to why I was walking out of a warehouse with an office chair. I'm currently working for a shipping company, so I work on the docks, but not at the docks. There's all like the great hard-working people doing intense manual labor, and then there's me sitting above the warehouse in an office sorting paperwork. It's a really kind of weird thing that my mind can't process. But anyway. Oh, yeah. It's a nice little office chair. I like having it. What else was I going to say? Hydrate, posture check, stretched. Oh, way tangentially back. Because I'm only going to have the one mod for a little bit, and as much as I love my wife, she can't be for every stream. The reason why she is the only mod is I just don't have enough chat volume that requires what I would consider moderation, which is basically banning people from chat that are being too inappropriate, not listening rules, bots. That's something that I can do fairly easily with my phone while I'm streaming. So I don't really feel like at this volume I'd need more than one mod. I did want to make sure that the shoutout command was available. So the shoutout command is available to any VIPs on my channel. So if you ever see a streamer pop in, like Mashed Mangoes, particularly because I think Moth's here a lot and you're a VIP, and I'll kind of assess who has VIPs in a little bit too, because I think there's a couple more I have to give out, and I want to give them out to a couple other people. But yeah, if you're one of my VIPs and you see an awesome streamer come in, like Mangoes or Dorito or Drew or any of them, feel free to do a little shout out command for me. I appreciate it. I'll try to remember to do them. I'm kind of terrible at doing them. But modding for our friend of Doritos, and he got like 20 chat bots, and oh boy, there were so many like chaos and pandemonium. My goodness. So I could see that happening, but I could probably step in. I only get like 2 or 3 at a time at most, and I can usually handle that just fine. You got anything nifty? You don't got anything nifty. But it won't happen much. Yeah, that's what I figured. It doesn't happen too much. At least you don't have TTs. I have no idea what TTs are. TTS? Text to speech. Oh, yes, I don't have text to speech for that. Probably that exact reason. Yeah. I'm just walking around with a stupid bread. I've been meaning to make this into a loaf for like an hour now. Not an actual hour, I'm hyperbolating. But... even when I... yeah. That's kind of why I don't have text-to-speech. I have chat pulled up on my phone for the most part. I don't dare have my overlay on Minecraft right now just because Minecraft's been so unstable. But normally I have an overlay on my screen. And it's because it's right, like, on my screen, I usually can read it just fine. What is that? Oh, it's a flower. Do you want to be famous? Click this link here. I get really mad at bots like that because, like, how do I explain this? I have a disproportionate hatred for bots and scammers, not because they annoy me, but because the people who get tricked by them are vulnerable. And it just really pisses me off more than anything in the world. Or, well, there's other things that probably piss me off more, but they're very high up there. And then proceeds to read the link, and that's the most annoying part. I bet it is. And that's not what you thought of. Hello, King LA. I can't still I can't still can't. King, hello King, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna be entirely honest. I probably almost said that because I was calling it TTs, but I didn't realize what I was saying until after. Wee bit sleepy. Yeah, and also yeah, congratulations on your gifted sub. You now have a sub to my channel and have access to my one sub emote that I am very, very proud of because I love it. And it's a little dragon. I think he's cute. And my wife helped me make it, and I'm always biased to anything that my wife helps me make. Yeah, there you go. Yes, if you're VIP, you can give a little bit of a shout out command for me to make my life easier. Don't feel like you have to. It's just something I did, and I'm like, there we go. Doing good. I've been in and out having your stream in the background, and someone gifted me a sub, which was crazy. Yeah, I've had quite a few great people coming through gifting subs. Like Moth's gifted a ton lately. We have Mashed Mangoes who just gifted a sub. I have a couple other people who've just subbed to me. I've really appreciated it all, to be honest. It's been really good. I really appreciate all of you. And that's the thing. I don't know if you watch many streams beyond Doritos King, but if you start to watch a lot of streamers in the, I'm gonna call it the Greater Luna community, which kind of Doritos part of it's what I'm part of. Vixen, all of them are part of it. Subs tend to get gifted around quite a bit in that community because there's a lot of great people there. So, like if I had, I have I'm not in a position where I can afford to sub to channels right now, unfortunately, because there's so many channels I want to sub to. So many great streamers out there I'd love to support, and I will when I can. I'm not in a position to. I've kind of been out on the East Coast without income for a while now, but I got a job now, so everything's looking good for us. Um, but I still have subs to so many channels because I'll just go put a channel in the background to lurk for a bit, help boost their view count, and then suddenly I log back on and it's like, you've been gifted a sub. Or like I'll put it on in the background, fall asleep, and I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, congrats, I have a sub. I was once watching a co op stream between three streamers that I know, and I came back and I had managed to be gifted a sub in at each of the three streams because I had them all up at once, doing a little bit of lurking to kind of click through them and see what they were doing while I was trying to get some other work done. Anyway, the old wait for the gift. I'm not waiting around for a gifted sub, but I always appreciate it. I'm just glad to see streamers that I enjoy getting support. You know, like the gifted sub for me, I really appreciate that. But for the streamers, that's just it just makes me smile. Hello, Dan. That is what I do too. I lurk on my friends' streams, and it happens to me too. Yeah, there we go. Hello, Dorito. Hello. It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. We're just playing a little bit of chill Minecraft till I fall asleep. I probably not till I fall asleep for a couple hours. Thank you, Moth. Moth's on it with the shoutouts tonight. I just got here and Banana calls you out. We all know that's just because Banana likes you. That's how Banana shows his love. No, I was just mentioning that because I'm kind of terrible at remembering to shout out streamers, especially when I'm kind of like a little tired how I've been the last few streams. I've made it I've made it so anyone I've given VIP to can do shout outs. They can also do the add quote command, but I don't have any quotes yet because I don't really say apparently a lot of things quotable. I'm sneaky like that. I'm not like Noctis who gets all of these just wonderfully accidentally inappropriate not actually it's Noctis. I can't say that many of them are actually accidental. Quotes for his wonderful mods to quote Amon. Moth doesn't seem to be very sleepy with his quickness. It's so first off, just a quick little heads up. Moth has she her pronouns. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at the chat already on that. Um. Oh. But and it happens. It happens, King. But especially when you're kind of new to a stream, just yeah. I don't want to speak on behalf of Moth, but she's a pretty great person, so I'm sure she probably forgives you for the accident. Oh. I have to tell people all the time, like, if I ever get your pronouns wrong, it's just because I'm not, like, my mind doesn't always fire remembering things right. And I speak. Like, my mind has a bizarre default to male terminology. Like, oh, it's probably not bizarre socially speaking, but like I will refer to people who I know very well do not use he him pronouns as he and him because that is my mind. It is sleepy. It can't think right now. Everyone is a he him default. So if I ever do that, I do apologize. It's just my mind don't work too good sometimes. It's kind of the same vein of the amount of teachers that I've called mom over the years. Which you think, like, calling a teacher mom by accident, everyone's done it. The problem is like I'll call a teacher mom and then they're like a 6'8", 500-pound white dude and they look at me like, did you just call me mom? And then I'll be like, maybe. I'm sleepy. Not the mouth do what the mouth want to do, and I can't control what it decide to shorten and lazy things to sometimes. These cheer badges look nice. Oh, I'm glad. I worked. I did a decent little bit on those cheer badges. They are. I'm quite happy with how they turned out, personally. I don't know what I'm going to do for all of them. I don't think I'm going to have to use all of them, to be entirely honest. But um, yeah, I was quite content with how they turned out myself. I really appreciate that. That was just an afternoon project of mine. They're all very similar right now. I think I've done 5 of them. Like I just did the ones I had available, but I just wanted to make like a little pixel gym, and then I made like a couple different variations that get slightly bigger. Hello, Dorito. Oh, thank you. Ooh, what? There's chats going on. You should have thought. Okay, I think Daffy didn't have teachers and said he had giant 500-pound overlords. Probably. A couple of them, at least. Oh, shouldn't you make the bit emote the isopod? Oh, that's actually a good idea. Maybe I will make the isopod one of my bit emotes. I'm not entirely sure what to do with the isopod emote yet. I thought about that. I'm kind of toying around with a couple things, too. You want a cheer badge? Thank you so much for the bits, Stan. I appreciate it. Does it even, like, let the bits badge show with everything that you have? You might have, like, one too many badges on my stream to have those. Because right now you got the coveted first. Oh, now Moth's got a bit badge. Yeah. Has cheered 65. Moth. I think, like, every time I say bits, Moth cheers more bits. I mean, I always appreciate it, Moth, but you cheer a lot of bits. Are you, like... I don't know. You can change on desktop. Oh, there you go. The more badges, the better. Hello, you have a unique name for me here. I'm gonna struggle a little. I struggle with names sometimes. I'm gonna apologize. I'm going to say Manov. It could be Manav. Manavi. It could be very many things. I'm gonna say Manov for now. If that's terribly, terribly wrong, just let me know, and I will try my best to correct it. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Dorito. Treat this like the Boy Scouts. The more badges, the better. I was a Boy Scout. I was an Eagle Scout. I was an Eagle Scout at 14. I was super into scouting for a good bit. I didn't do anything past that. I got my Eagle Scout at 14, and that was basically the end of my scouting career. Because, believe it or not, there's actually a lot of stuff apparently after Eagle Scout that you're supposed to be able to do. And I didn't do any of it. He's like hundreds of badges. Oh. Yeah, I have a couple different styled bit emotes. They're pretty similar for my little bit badges. Gives me a small serotonin, but my wallet hates me. Well, yeah, don't do anything that you can't afford. You know, I appreciate them, but I want to make sure that you guys are okay. I'm just here because I'm going to be playing video games either way, and I don't need the money. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it, but yeah. I just appreciate you being here and chatting to me. Nah, you'll be okay. I'm making late night pizza rolls, living the life. That is the life, Dorito. Pizza rolls are the best. We're talking like Tostino's pizza rolls, or do we got like some weird off-brand or like secret brand that I haven't heard of? It's like secretly the best kind of pizza rolls. Yeah, I figured it was Tostino's. I mean, they make a mean pizza roll, man. Yeah. I'm gonna say this. Tostino's pizza rolls, delicious, fantastic. I love them. Tostino's cheap dollar square party pizzas, demons. I don't know who invented those, but they are the absolute, like, nightmare fuel. Do I eat them if I have them? Yes. I'll eat anything. But they taste terrible, and I don't say that about a lot of food. Yeah, they are like everything that you want in a good pizza is missing. Like, the sauce is kind of okay, but the cheese isn't very stretchy. It, like, burns before it melts. Kind of tastes a bit plasticky. But, like, that's all livable. The worst is the crust. It feels like someone stuck it on a Ritz cracker. Like a soggy, floppy Ritz cracker that didn't taste good and buttery. That's the best way to describe the crust. Demons Run Tostinos confirmed. Would you sell your soul for a pizza roll? Yes, I would. conquest of bread. What time is it? I got work in the morning, and I shouldn't be as up late as I am. But I wanted to be able to stream for at least 2 hours. And now we have a bunch of friends here, so we're probably going to stream a little bit longer than I normally would, or than I was planning on, because I got friends here. Okay, there's trees. There's this. Aha! I was going to make spruce slabs so I could actually make stairs. My mind did kick in the end. Okay, I got a good amount of spruce. Let's see, let's do 16 for now. See how many slabs that gets us. Oh, I had a whole bunch of slabs already. Pay attention to your inventory, guys. Nope. Those were going there. It's probably more than I need. Oh. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna do? I'm gonna do something real quick because it's been on my mind and I'm gonna forget if I don't do this. And I might break things. So I'm gonna apologize if it breaks things now. But I want to do it before I forget. Oh, does it not let me do this thing while I'm... Nope, it's right there. Okay. Yes. Alright. Just to test this. You still there, Banana? Looks like we didn't crash, too. So, yes. Seems like Minecraft is stabilized. Okay. Okay. Banana is still here. Yes. Yes, he is. Banana is also now VIP. Because I've been thinking about people I wanted to give out a couple of those extra badges to. And Banana's just one of my favorite little lurkers. And I really respect them. So I just wanted to give them a little bit of a VIP badge. Because that's one of the few things that I can give away for free to people that I appreciate. Collects another shiny. Always. I was just like looking and like everyone chatting and I'm like, who doesn't have one of these that I think needs one? And I'm like, it's Banana. It's Banana. They're always here. They're always chatting. The other person that should have one now as well, because they've been catching quite a few of my streams and I wanted to give them one. But they haven't been chatting for a little bit, so I think that they have either gone to bed. Probably gone to bed at this hour for them. But the other one that should have one is now Poppy Iron Shields. Because they are also a good person, and they've been in my chats. So shout out to Poppy Iron Shields too. Yeah. Is this gonna work? Yeah, and now you guys can use the shout out command too. Does this work? I don't know if I like this. I don't think I like it. Like, maybe... I think this might, like, look good in completion. But I'm gonna have to do, like... some kind of this. Oh, goodness. Would that work? Actually, I'm kind of liking how that looks. Okay. Okay. Kind of thinking then, like, round out this corner. I'm trying to think how to do this. I have an idea for stairs, but I don't know if they're gonna fit, so we're... Well, hello. Yeah. You were stuck in my walls. You're really lucky you have a llama, otherwise I might never have seen you. If you fall down this... If you fall down there, I can't get you back out. They'll teleport away eventually, and then the llama will be free. Gotta watch after your animals, dude. Gotta take better care of them than this. Okay. Hello. Yes. I did say hello. I think I might have just accidentally kidnapped this guy's 2 llamas. And I feel a little bad about it. Okay. So we're gonna have the stairs come up this way. I'm going to do a little bit of a wall here. We're gonna do like a nice little stone wall there. Don't feel bad about free llamas. But I feel bad for the little merchant guy. He's just been sitting here chatting away, and I stole his llamas. He's with his llamas again. We're good. And let's... I think actually we can probably just do basically what I did over there, but over here. Should keep it within the confines of this area. And allow us to kind of flip around in a somewhat successful manner. Anyway, or you saved those llamas from an incompetent owner. I mean, now they just all get to live in this secret empty space between outer and inner walls for the rest of eternity. It's the fastest way to make friends. Unintentional kidnapping. Fairly certain they're being held hostage. I'm just making friends. Unintentional kidnapping. Fastest way to make friends. Well, hello! Hello, Triton. I'm just going to say this right now. This may be you may be an actual person. This might be out of the best intent. It does feel a little bit bot-like, just to let you know. And if it's not bot-like, it is a little bit spammy, self-promotional. And um, it's okay. Like I don't mind. I'm not here for the bits. I just kind of stream for fun. I always appreciate some bit donations. Um, it's just a little bit of a weird way to come into my chat as a not regular person, so I do apologize if I say anything rude there. I'm just always a little bit cautious about bits. Um, yeah, you understand? It's okay. I don't want to be rude or offensive. It just kind of came in and I just was like, in case you're a bot, I just wanted to address it. I've had a couple bots coming in recently. It's made me a little bit on edge, but I appreciate the bit. And if you're just going around giving away a couple bits to a bunch of different streamers, that's really cool of you. So I do appreciate that. But I'm a little bit of a jaded, cynical being. So if I see something like that, I'm like, something's going on. Okay. All right. Oh, I get what you're doing. I just reread your post too, so it just sounds like you're just giving away a single bit to random streamers you find. That's pretty cool of you. I do appreciate that, Triton. I appreciate the swing by. I appreciate the bit. I have to figure out what I do what I want it to do here, but kind of thinking this. That should work. Maybe. Maybe that will work. I'll have to figure it out. That. That should be what I need there. Okay, I'm off to give more bits. You have a good night. You have a good night too, Triton. I do appreciate that. Sorry I took it a little bit odd. It just came in a bit weird and I want to be a little bit cautious. Not that you said anything weird, I'm just a little bit hypersensitive to bots. But you have a wonderful night. I do appreciate the quick little swing by. Ah, but Dorito, little do you know, I know that's a lie, because I saw your live stream when your face reveal was shown. Also, aren't we all bots? If we're not all bots, I don't know what to do anymore. You're a very advanced bot. Everyone knows Banana Spot in Yuki's chat. I'm kind of debating between doing two things here. Oh, okay, I still have plenty of spruce planks. One is to kind of come in up the stairs like this. That doesn't work. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. This gives me a lot more, like, headspace than I was planning, but that actually might work for the best. Because I can actually maybe do some kind of ceiling design. But in the meantime, I need to lay out flooring. So I'm going to lay out flooring following the interior walls. I have made a mess for myself. I want all of you to know that I'm trying to figure out how to solve the mess that I have made, but I am not entirely sure how I want to do this now. Because I always do / me is still here every 5 minutes in there. Oh, that's fantastic. The thing is there's like 2 different ways that this could happen in my mind, and one is that Banana has a banana named Bot in Yuki's stream. The other one is that I can see Banana sitting there with a timer, like counting down the seconds till the next time that they can do a what's it called? The next time, whatever it is. I definitely think the timer, yeah, just like sitting there like counting, waiting. Yes, it's time again. I'm still here. Okay. Hello. Hi, your name is... I am very sleepy right now, and your name is going to be a tricky... Glof? I'm gonna say Glof. That could be entirely wrong. Gluov? I have no idea. I'm gonna be entirely honest. Um, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but welcome to the stream. He never doesn't even have a timer. He just knows the time in his head. See, Banana's not actually a bot. He's just part bot. And that part bot is just this little timing guy in the back of his head that lets him know when it's time to goes. Glue off or glue oof. It's all good though. I'm probably gonna say glue off. It's because what comes to my mind first, but I'll say one of the two. I'm kind of terrible with names here, but welcome to the stream. T-Fay is full bot. T-Fay is a bit full bot. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate that. We're just playing a little bit of Minecraft today. Just enjoying, well, the inevitable plan for this, as everyone who's been watching the stream has heard me say multiple times today. The inevitable plan is to build a museum that contains every block, item, mob, etc. in Minecraft. And we're going to probably build it right here. I'm thinking eventually maybe going like with Gothic cathedral style architecture for it, but we'll kind of see what happens. However, for the past entirety of like I think this is the 4th or 5th time I've streamed on this world in Minecraft, we've been working on this house. And it is going to eventually be a Tudor style house, but we're kind of just working on it one step at a time. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do these stairs. And this is currently what I have, but I might change it up a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a very long running stream. Like, I'd probably, if I were to put a rough guesstimate, probably like a year and a half of about probably 2 years actually at the rate that I'm streaming Minecraft. Because like once I start getting the resources and building the museum, it will actually go up pretty quickly. But kind of the ground and prep work is what takes a while. Because getting one of every item in Minecraft is actually not terribly difficult once you've been playing long enough. There's a couple things that I know are going to be tricky, like the dragon egg, for example, where it's going to require a little bit of advanced forethought on how to pull that off. Okay. So how do I want to do this section here? That's the question. I'm thinking potentially replacing these with to get the end portal frame. I should clarify, any block that is obtainable in vanilla Minecraft without the use of console commands or mods. So if there is a way that I can get it, no, you gotta go back in there. The villagers escaped. If there's a way to get it, then yes, I probably will. I'm not entirely opposed to using... I don't want to use, like, cheats. I'm not going to use cheat codes. But, like, if it's, like, using maybe a light little bug or something like that, not to, like, dupe items or cheat, but, like, you can get this block if you do X, Y, and Z with a piston and it causes it to drop when it normally wouldn't. That's something that I might do, but I'm not gonna, like, if it requires any more than, like, console commands and stuff like that, I'm probably not going to. I just won't worry about it. That's kind of my thought process on it right now. So things like the Ender Dragon Egg, for example, I think you can't pick it up unless you use like a piston to push and break it. I'm planning on getting that one. It used to be that way. I've played Minecraft for a long time, but not necessarily consistently enough to know all of the little updates and changes. I wouldn't be surprised if you can get it with like a Silk Touch pick now. And there are certain items too, like if, for example, I did something that made it so I couldn't obtain the Ender Dragon Egg, which I consider an obtainable item, I would reset the end. So there might be the use of some admin commands in that way, but not for the purpose of cheating, just for the purpose of fixing things I break. So, that's kind of the parameters of it. Okay, so we're going to go with that. Do I like how this looks? I'm not sure I like how this looks. I think I might have liked it with the spruce better. No, I actually kind of like it with the stone better, I think. And I think what I'm going to do is going to be... Oh, actually, that's not a bad idea. Do I have... I do have spruce planks. Yes, this might work. If I can get back over here. I am also a, like, I'm going to say I'm going to use the phrase freeform builder here, which means if you see me building something and you're like, this guy isn't planning, he's just throwing blocks down randomly. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just not planning at all. I am 100% throwing blocks down randomly to kind of see what happens. See, until I find something that I like. Let's see if we can just do that. You get 3, so you kind of walk. Planning is for losers. Oh. Okay. If I'm looking... Now I just want to get rid of this one. Which means I want to get rid of these ones, which means I'm going to want to do that one there. Oh, what am I doing? Oh. Pretty kickback stream doing that while I write a script. Yeah, I just try to be a pretty chill little streamer. I just like to do what I want. Chat to people, have a fun time. That's what I'm here for. Alright everybody, gotta head off to bed. Good night, Banana. You have a wonderful rest. I hope it goes well. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be on, because I do have work tomorrow, and I need to be well rested for it. But I enjoy streaming, and I enjoy playing Minecraft. So we are still here. But good night, Banana. And a screenwriter. Oh, both Dorito. Wait, yeah, both Dorito and uh, Glue Off, I think is what you said. Right, screenplays or script. That's the word. Script is the word that I was looking for that eluded me for a fairly embarrassingly long time there. Oh, thank you for remembering me the Hydrate Moth. I always appreciate that. Okay. Oh. Oh, noes. Oh, noes. Hmm? Okay, that looks okay. And from down here. I don't hate it. Screenplays is also the word. I'll sleep eventually. First time I heard the word screenplay. Yeah. I also write. I don't write scripts. I write short stories. Mostly. I don't write scripts or screenplays. I took film composition class, and we always referred to it as a screenplay there, rather than a script. Did I say film composition? What did I just say there? I'm specifically referring to into this instance for writing music for movies. I took a class, and the subject of that class was writing film music. I don't know what phrases I used there. I think I said film composition. Yeah, composing music for films. That is what I was referring to. I don't do it for a living. I don't really write music much anymore, but that was a hobby of mine and one I plan to get back into eventually. But all of my instruments are currently, much like a lot of things, actually still in Utah. So I do not have them right now. I mainly write scripts for videos I make on YouTube. They're just story times, and I find it easier to write it all down and record it the next day. Yeah, that's completely fair. I'm a live streamer, so I'm not scripted. It's weird saying I'm a live streamer. I just said that, and then my mouth was like, but are you? I stream on the internet. I'm not really a live streamer. But yeah, that is really cool. Petition to get Daffy to Utah. We need a petition to get my wife and kids out to Massachusetts. That's what we need to do. And then with them, we can bring my instruments and everything, like my Switch and all of that. The plan is to relocate them out here as soon as possible. Things have just not been going in the planned linear pattern, as they never do. And that's okay. And I fell. Hello, world. Petition to also get you to Massachusetts. Yeah, you can come join us. I like it out here so far. We will eventually. We will eventually. That's the thing. You know, I don't stress it too much. Okay. I gotta decide how I want to do things. That's kind of working. I'm gonna kind of finish flooring out the area that I want on the second story. We'll do lighting, and then I'm gonna go back and figure out what to do with the one block gap that I wasn't expecting. Because I can either raise all of these walls one block, bring it up to the top frame, which I think will also be good. But we will see if I do that or if I come up with something else. Petition to petition the petition of the petitioning of petitions for Daffy needs. I think I read that right. We can sign petitions for days. It's been a good week for me. We've gotten a couple things that have happened this week that have been exactly what I needed to kind of start setting things up to get them out. So I will kind of say that in the realm of good news. All of the notifications phone. You're supposed to be muted while I'm streaming. The petitions. So many petitions that he becomes a petition. The petitioner. Is it petitioner or practitioner of petitions? Okay. I need more spruce wood. I have spruce wood. I need to turn this to planks. I'm gonna turn this to planks. I'm gonna turn it to, let's do 2 stacks of planks for now. I guess you can say so. It's the petitioning. Petiception. It's almost nighttime. Let's do the sleeps before the monsters do us in. Because if there's one thing we should know about this game, it's that I cannot really defend myself well. Mighty on. What difficulty am I on? Am I on normal? Oh, nope, sleep. I can check after sleep. Probably only going to go for about another 20-ish minutes, y'all. We'll see. I say that with the full knowledge that I might go longer, but it's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Wrap up my stream before the next hour is what I'm thinking, which will be 4 a.m. my time, Eastern Standard Time. Ugh. Okay, through the store. And we can kind of get back to building the thing. And there's a boop. There's a boop. Here's another boop. I don't know why I'm calling these boops, but they're not boops. Okay. Let's see. And these are probably going to get built out too. Because what I usually do is I'll usually build the whatever the technical term would be for it. The wool portion of the wall usually will be right here. So I'm going to leave those, but I will build up this corner because I'm going to put the wood right to the corner there. And there. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So that's going to be the floor here. How do I want to do this corner? So I'm thinking I'm going to just you. This? Oh, actually, if I do like a little set down and that come around the corner, that actually doesn't look too bad. I think it would look better though if I just go straight up with this. Nice, easy transition. Maybe I'll figure out how to do this corner. This is going to be a pain corner, but I got a lot of flexibility, so I can definitely figure it out. Lots of options there. Let's move on to this half of the building to get the floor set. Sorry for going quiet right there. I just like saw the creeper and I'm like, no. I can't have you ruin everything. Oh, goodness, I've fallen. Oh, I almost fell in a much more actually bad place to fall. Okay. That's what I want to do for now. As long as those illagers stay over there, we're gonna have... You know, I thought you muted my stream. No, I saw a creeper, and then I was like, panicked mode, because we're a little tired, and it was like in the wall of my house, and I'm like, if this blows up, I'm gonna have to remember what things looked like, and my mind is not capable of processing that at the moment. Yeah, we'll build up that's gonna be built up tall. Okay. I should probably just outline the floor, actually, now that I think about it. So we're gonna kind of come around like this. We're gonna have a much bigger... What's gonna be like a much bigger top floor, as this were. Second story. That's what the word I'm looking for is. Because it's gonna kind of follow the outside, not just the inner walls, because just kind of how the what's it McCalled's work. Let's turn the last of this into spruce planks for now. We're gonna have to go get some more, but we've got 2 nice spruce trees over there, so it shouldn't be too bad. With one exception, I am going to just cut straight across right here, because we're going to be building, I think, a fireplace right there. I think that's what I'm currently leaning towards, is a fireplace. We will see what I actually end up building, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Like a big grand entry hall fireplace. I'm kind of leaning towards grand entry hall fireplace. I'm going to build like a drink serving counter, like a little bar area. And I'm going to build a little kitchen right there. And we're going to put tables. And this is going to be a bit like a inn tavern. I call it my house because it is going to be my arguable house. It's going to be my player base. But what I'm shooting for is going to be a little bit more like actually a medieval tavern. We'll see how it turns out and kind of how things evolve. But that is what I am leaning towards for the end goal here. The tavern. So I need to put some lights down here before I give myself more problems. As is pretty commonly known by the members of this chat, it literally should be everyone right now because I just mentioned it. I have a kid, and because I have a kid, This is why you're supposed to put torches in these little narrow knick-knacky spots, but I maybe forget to do that a lot. Because I have kids, I often do that thing that parents do where they're like, just like unsolicited, like, let me tell you all about my child for an hour. I do that. And particularly to like my coworkers. And at my old job, everyone referred, because I go by Tada IRL. That is what everyone um, knows me by IRL. Whenever I start doing that, it was to dad time. Or if I felt compelled to make a dad joke or something like that. Why am I trying to sleep? Is it even close to night? It is. But yeah, it was to dad time or to dad's story. So Tife was right. Did Tife make it to dad joke? I'm trying to remember what Tife said. Tife has said many things. No, it looked better before. It looked better like that. You heard dad. Yeah, that's part of the reason. I think everyone here knows where my username comes from. I know I mentioned it in the Stardew stream. I know I've mentioned it before the Stardew stream. Oh, we got a new person here actually. Yeah, because Gluoff probably doesn't know. Well, for anyone who doesn't know with my username, because I like to say this, I go by Tada IRL. The reason why I go by Tada is my real name's Taylor. It's not a secret. And there's 1,000,001 Taylors in the world. There was a very, very common name. And when you I worked at a big corporation for a while, there were like 7 Taylors in the call center. There were 2 Taylors, which were bigger, bearded men, who drove a 2006 blue Corolla and happened to be on very similar but slightly different teams that sat right next to each other. I was one of them. We also both always wore hats to work, and we're basically very similar people. I don't know where this clone of mine came from, and I hope he's having a great life out there. Um, when that car died, I don't drive the blue Corolla anymore. It got totaled. But when the Corolla died, we had to have a moment of silence because it was one of our binding moments together. Anyway, but most people know me as Tada because of that, because TA is the first 2 letters of Taylor, and DA is the first 2 letters of my last name. Tada. And then I don't want to say what my last name is, because I just don't want to say that on stream. I don't think I necessarily need to explain why. Internet safety. Um, Granted, it's the internet. If you dug hard enough, I'm sure you could find it out. But my last name is Dad. But my last name is Welsh in origin and vaguely related to the name David in a way. And the Welsh spelling of David is Daffyd. I can't use Tada as a username on Twitch or in most places because it's Tada. It's an actual word that people say. Tada! So people have used it in quite a lot of ways. But no one ever uses the Welsh spelling of David, let alone the Welsh spelling of David with a TA in front of it. So it works. And so I use Tadeffin. And that's also where Daffy comes from, or Taffy. But yeah, there's that. It's the origins of my username. I so where Daffy came from, and I actually don't mind Daffy at all. I call myself Daffy a fair bit. Um, Daffy or Jada is fine. But where Daffy came from was when I first joined Noctis's stream, and he read my name, and he's like, "I'm just going to call you Daffy. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Huh. No one's called me Daffy before, but I see where he got that. So yeah, that's fine. That's probably easier for a lot of people to remember." And then that kind of stuck because he was my introduction to the wonderful people in Luna, and most people just call me Daffy now. In fairness, out of like all of the streamers that I have ever like randomly chimed in or rated or various stuff like that, it's only been like 2 or 3 of them who have thought about abbreviating it to Tada. Most of them just stare at it like they either get this like blank panic stare or like they just go and try to phonetically pronounce it, which is actually pretty accurate. Anyway, I'm gonna go finish the script, and it's getting kind of late. Have a great day, man. I hope to see you in stream next time. Yeah, absolutely. You have a wonderful time with your script. I hope it writes exactly how you want. I hope you manage to get done whatever you need to, and I hope you have a wonderful night, getting good rest afterward, and having a wonderful day tomorrow. Just remember, there's many things in real life that are more important. Gotta go take care of those, but you're always welcome back here when I stream. Anyway. Also, semi-unrelated, and what people have thought my username means, which I don't necessarily mind, is because DAFFYD is the Welsh spelling of David, and it's just pronounced David. Sometimes people might say it like with the F's, which is David, but it's still pretty similar either way. Sometimes you can't even pick up that there's a different sound you're using there. But because of that, they'll look at it and they'll go, "Oh, he's Welsh or English at the very least, because he's using that spelling," which I am not. But my family is from the area, so, and not like ancestry, like literally my nana and granddad are from Herefordshire, England, right on the border of England and Wales. Um, Hence the Welsh last name. But oh, where's I going with this? Oh, nope, it's gone. Oh, nope, I remembered. We're good. My family came from Wales. Yeah, it's apparently very common. I always think like Wales is a very uncommon ancestry, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I have family from Wales too." So apparently the Welsh really got around. Um. Anyway, but the but in England, a shorthand for thanks is ta. So I've had a couple people who think my name is Thanks David. That's what they read it as Thanks David. Look, the Welsh flag is the best flag. We all know this. They put a frickin' dragon on it. Like, I'm sorry. And it almost follows all of the 5 rules of vexillology. 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 Which I kind of want to go on a rant about, but I feel like that's... Okay. Vexillology. Vexillology, vexilla, I'm probably mispronouncing it, is the study of flag designs, and there's generally accepted to be 5 rules when it comes to good flag design. The 5 rules are as follows. The first one is keep it simple. The second one is, ooh, I might get these out of order. I'm gonna pull them up so I don't get them out of order. I know the 5 rules, I just don't want to get them out of order. The second one is, I believe, no letters is either the color ones or the letters and seals. Okay. Oh, is keep it simple. The second rule is use meaningful symbolism. The third rule is use of 2 to 3 basic colors. The fourth rule is no lettering or seals. And the fifth rule is be distinct or be related. In other words, you want it simple enough a kid could draw it. You want it to be meaningful, like don't just have random colors put together. What was that? It's got to have like some kind of meaning to represent whatever the flag's for. The third rule is just 2 to 3 well-designed colors is all you need. The fourth rule, obviously, don't if you have to write the name of your city, state, or country, or whatever it is on the flag, your flag's not doing a good job. And seals are just needlessly complex and also similar principle. And the last one is be distinct. It doesn't need to look like every other flag. And or be related. If it is connected to other things, show that connection. The Welsh flag does pretty good in this regard. It is the first one's one of the iffy ones where it's like the dragon might be a little bit complex, but I would call it simple. It's a dragon on a 2-colored background. I would call it simple. Some people may disagree. We'll get to state flags in a second here. It's going to be part of this little tangent. It is very meaningful. It's the dragon, and there are massive folklores and stories regarding the Welsh dragon, and Whales and dragons. Like, that's a whole thing of its own. And the green and white are the colors of a leek, and there's a lot of things between Welsh and leeks. This also represents like freedom and peace. There's a lot to do with the flags, and it's all very symbolic. So, ding, 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 all the lights right there. It's 2 to 3 simple colors, 3 colors, well balanced. Red, white, green go together, perfect. Fourth, which was no seals or letterings. No seals or letterings. Congrats. It's not a hard rule. Many places fail that one. And the last one is be meaningful or distinct, or be unique or distinct. It is unique. There are ways it could be related to a couple other countries if it wanted to be, but I'm pretty sure no Welshman is going to want to put the English flag on theirs just because they're part of the UK. Nor should they. So yeah, I say it gets a solid pass on all 5 of the flag design rules. There are ways to break the rules, and break the rules in meaningful ways. For example, generally speaking, if you're making a pride flag, you can usually get away with getting a few more colors in there, or like if it's a pride flag for a specific organization, including the whole rainbow is fine. Like that usually doesn't necessarily break good flag design, according to most people who study flag design. However, there's a pet peeve of mine, and it's the states. Every state in America has a flag, and out of the 50 states, I'm pretty damn sure like 30 of them are a bed sheet with the state seal on it. It's so common. Blue flag, maybe a white flag, slap the state seal on it, and if that's not enough, write the name of your state under it. It's Utah does it, Massachusetts does it, Idaho does it. So many states. It is so terrible. So much. It's just terrible flag design. It's not simple in any sense of the word. Most people don't even know what their state seal looks like. They're not going to be able to draw it from memory. It's like debatably meaningful. The thing is the state seal can be meaningful, but it all depends on your state seal. So like it might get a pass on meaningful. They almost always break the color regulations because they throw a full colored seal in the middle of it. They have a seal. That's literally one of the rules. And they're not distinct, nor are they related. So they're just terrible flag designs. They're not distinct because so many other states do it, and they're not related because it's not intentional, it's just lazy. And then you have other flags, like California's flag makes me sad. Because it's such a good flag design if they just took California off of it. But in context, I might be thinking about like a Fallout 4 flag design. So if I am, I apologize. But like, I always just see the California on the California flag, and I'm like, you came so close, and you missed it. You missed it. And then you have other states. Like a state, here's a state with a good flag that breaks rules. Maryland. Yeah, New Mexico, Colorado both have good flags. Maryland breaks some rules, and I freaking still love their flag. Because basically, Maryland was the equivalent of let's make a flag, let's break the rules, but yet let's make a flag that's still aesthetically pleasing enough that everyone looks past it. Maryland's flag, if you haven't seen it, I can't explain it. I can't even begin to explain Maryland's flag. Google it. It is so good, and it breaks so many of the rules. Basically, it is a mess of color. It's like it's got four colors, and these two sections are the same, and these two sections are the same. It looks fantastic, but it's not simple. It's complex as hell. But here's the thing, is it's meaningful too. It is meaningful because it's a combination of the two families that settled Maryland's family crest. That's where it comes from, I believe. Um, I could be a little bit wrong on that. I'm not an expert on Maryland state history, but that's what I was told. And with theirs thing, it's like just it breaks the rules, but it still looks good. There's more than three colors, but it's just kind of like such a uniqueness about it that it breaks the rules in the right way. There's right ways to break the rules, and Maryland's flag does it. So, shout out to them for finding how to break the rules and still making a good flag. And for some states, it would be so easy to make a good flag. Utah, for example, just stick a yellow beehive on whatever you want. It's the beehive state. We have a beehive on our state. We have beehives on our highway signs. We're not a climate that bees are normally found in, but we have beehives everywhere. It's the nickname's the beehive state. Um, and it is just like such an easy thing. Just slap a simple beehive, make it yellow, slap it on a well-designed, maybe two-toned background for colors that represent and go well with yellow. We have a beautiful state flag that's unique. Utah. This is Utah. I'm ranting about my home state because it'd be so easy. And not to leave Massachusetts out of this rant, Massachusetts has a fairly interesting seal with a couple of things that could bode well to the flag. The seal's potentially problematic, though, which I want to address. A square flag. Square flag, great way to make your flag unique. Another state that has a good flag, Ohio. It's a bit on the complex side, but the shape is unique and the flag color patterns are cool. It's a bit of a divisive one. I like Ohio, but not everyone in the vexillological community likes Ohio. I like Ohio though. There isn't one. I'm saying that that's what Utah should do for their flag. It would be such an easy flag to make, but they don't. They just have the seal on the bed sheet still. It's like they use beehives in everything. We're the beehive state, and that's such an easy thing to do on a flag. Anyway, silly Utah. Yeah, exactly. Also, context, my wife likes the Utah flag. We've gotten in. Me and my wife don't argue a lot. We have a very loving relationship, but one of the few things that has drawn an argument in our relationship is the stupid Utah flag. uh, that man off there. So here's my thing. I also have ideas for Massachusetts because I've been here long enough. I've looked up their flag and became attached. Massachusetts has their state seal, which I'm going to address something real quick. Massachusetts state seal is like a standard seal background with a Native American and a star. There's a lot of symbology in their seal, um, because their seal is about making peace with the Native Americans. It's very specifically from that. So the Indian's bow is pointed down. There's like some interesting symbology in it. I do think it is something that, given America's history, if Massachusetts were to use it, it would need to be done with like express approval of the Native American communities from the area, which I don't think they have. It's just been one of those things that they've done without approval. Um, so with that context, and then the other problem as well is that they also included the Minuteman sword because Massachusetts Revolutionary War, the sword of a Minuteman, arm raised. It's on the seal as well. The problem is they put the Minuteman sword arm above the Native American, and that's not necessarily a contextually good design because it could mean things tangentially related to like white supremacy. Um, it wasn't intentional. It was just bad flag design of something that was a bit oof. Um, so I think for like a good Massachusetts flag though is they should do a blue flag with the white star that they have in the top corner because that's actually good. I kind of like the star. It's got some symbolism for the state. Um, but then I think they should either do the Minuteman arm and sword, or like just the Minuteman sword would be a good thing to have in the middle of the flag. Or if they got the express permission from the Native American communities from this area, the Native American with the or like a downward facing bow of peace would be another great symbolism for them to use. I just hope if they redesign the flag and they go with the Native American route because they seem to be very fond of that on the seal. They get permission from the right communities, as it were. It was a very long flag rant. Unless we want it in 8-bit, I don't do flag design. I'm very passionate about flag design. I just don't do flag design. So here's the thing. The reason why I do pixel art is if I try to draw, I am very, very shaky. I don't have good line work. Um, so my line work is just garbage. But if I do pixel art, I can individually place every pixel and use the tools and the gradients to get things to look the way I want them to. So that's why I do pixel art. Okay. We've done this entire rant, and I did not cut down those trees that I wanted to. And we are also gone a bit later than I was planning on going. But I'm glad to have gotten my flag rant out. I think that with going to bed, I am going to wrap up here because it's 4:43. No, wait, it's 3:44 a.m. my time. I have to wake up for work at 7 in 3 hours. So I'm going to wrap up here to go to bed and get some rest. I want to thank all of you for joining me on today's stream. Let's quit to the main title so I have something to look at. I am going to try to get some rest. I'm gonna, before I go to work, but let's set up a little bit of a raid. See if anyone's on that we know. Oh yeah, good stretch. And before I forget, let's actually set up a raid message because I always forget to set up a raid message. Let's do Daffy raid and my emotes, like 3 of them. If someone can type that out in the chat, I'd appreciate it while I'm getting the right thing pulled up to do a raid, because I got one monitor. One monitor life slows you down sometimes. Okay. Who's on? You said Zeons is on. Is he one of the leap targets? either of those are good. Xeon's 89. But he's a Luna member? We'll see. I might not be following him. He's got 12 followers. There's another. Are they a Luna member? 1 second. I think I want to use moths, if that's okay. I like the all caps. That way, if they got an all caps mod bot on, I can see how many of you can get timed out quickly. That almost happened when I first had my bots enabled. Okay, what am I... I'm just checking something real quick. I'm see if there's any of like the Leap Target streamers or anyone who's needing a boost from them that's online right now. Because Xeon looks... You was there for that. You were there for that, yeah. Yeah, that was my first experience with chatbot mods. And they're very over-aggressive natures, if left unattended. Truce bullied you. Oh. Okay. So I'm just trying to take a quick little look at a couple streamers. I'm going to be muting... You're only going to hear me for a little bit. I've just muted any kind of game audio while I listen in. I want to send you guys off to a chill place. I'm not seeing anyone. So I'm thinking we're going to go... I think we're going to go for Xeon's 89. Nice little chill art stream. How's that sound to you? Nice. All right. We're going to go ahead and rate ourselves Xeons. Thank you for the suggestion. Dorito, I really appreciate it. I just appreciate all of you joining me for the stream today. I've had a good stream. Going a little bit longer than I planned, but that's okay. I love all of you. I'm going to get a good night's rest. Y'all of you can either go enjoy the next stream, find another stream, do whatever you want to do. Hopefully you can get good night rests too when you do go to bed. And let's hope we can all have a wonderful Friday tomorrow and hopefully a good weekend if that's what you got in store for your work schedule. Anyway, I love you all. Let's go rate ourselves Xeon and have a wonderful rest of the night. Thank you all and bye.